What is happening, tabletop gamers? My name is LeunameGames, and welcome back to LeunameGames. Today I am teaching you how to play the 2 to 4 player cooperative game Forbidden Island by Matt Leacock and published by Gameright Games. Let's see what's in the box. In this game, players are on a team and they have traveled to a mysterious island out in the middle of nowhere, and they are trying to recover the island's 4 mystical treasures, while the island tries to protect them. How the island plans to protect them is by sinking around the players. So the players will have to work together to find and capture the treasures and successfully escape from the island on Fool's Landing before the island sinks into the abyss. To set up the game, arrange all the tiles in the pattern that you see here. 2 at the top, 2 on the bottom, 4, 4, and 6, 6. Then give each player 2 cards from this treasure deck. Then give each player a special ability. This game comes with 6 abilities. The pilot, for 1 action, may fly from its tile to any tile on the board. The explorer can either move or soar up tiles diagonally. The diver can move through flooded or missing tiles for an action, as long as he ends his turn on a tile. The diver may move through a flooded or missing tile for 1 action, meaning he can traverse through 6 tiles for 2 actions. The diver, for 1 action, can move through any number of flooded or missing tiles. The diver, for 1 action, can move through 1 or more missing tiles. Note, you must end your turn on a tile. The engineer can shore up 2 tiles for 1 action. The navigator may move another player up to 2 adjacent tiles for 1 action. And the messenger can give treasure cards to any other player on the island for 1 action each. Give each player 1 special ability. You can either have them pick it or you can just deal them out randomly along with her matching marker for their abilities, then place them on their given spaces, unless you're the pilot. You're starting at Fool's Landing. Give each player 2 treasure cards from the treasure deck. Flip the top 6 cards over from this flood deck, turning over a matching 6 tiles. You are ready to begin. The game starts with a player who has most recently been to an island. Great mechanism there, Matt. On your turn, you have 3 actions, and they can be either move, shore up, give a treasure card, or capture a treasure. To move, you may, for 1 action each, move your pawn to an adjacent island space. You can move up or down, but you may never move diagonally. You can also, if you wish, move onto a flooded tile space. However, you may never move your pawn into a missing space. There are, however, some exceptions when it comes to moving. You may, for 1 action each, shore up an adjacent tile or the tile you're currently on. To shore up a tile, you simply take the tile and flip it over to its non-flooded side. Again, you may only shore up tiles either for adjacent, from up and down, or from side to side. You may not flip over diagonal tiles, with some obvious exceptions. You may give a treasure card to another player, as long as your pawn and his pawn or her pawn are in the same location. You can give multiple cards to that player if you want, but it will cost you 1 action per card. So giving 2 cards to this player will cost you 2 actions. Keep in mind, you have a hand limit of 5, and you cannot give them special action cards. For example, the sandbags. Speaking of special actions, there are 2 special action cards in the game that will help your team. These are special actions that you can play literally at any time, even if it's on another player's turn, and you do not, I repeat, you do not need an action to play them. You simply play it whenever you want, and you throw it into the discard pile after it's been used. The sandbags will allow you to shore up a tile on any part of the island, and the helicopter lift allows you to move one or more pawns on the same tile to any tile, or lift your team off full islands for the win. That is right, in order to win this game, you must not only capture the 4 treasures, you must all get to Fool's Landing and play this helicopter lift. Fortunately for the players, there are 3 helicopter lifts and 2 sandbags. Just like moving and shoring up, there is an exception to giving cards. And the last thing you can do on your turn is to capture a treasure, which is a good thing because that is how you win. To capture a treasure, you must have your pawn on the space that matches the treasure that you're trying to capture. Then, you must play 4 of the matching treasure cards that have the treasure that you want. If you can do both of that, you discard the 4 cards, and you claim the treasure of the matching source. When you capture a treasure, place the cards that you used to capture it in the discard pile, and take the figurine and put it in front of you. Important note! You are allowed to capture a treasure on a flooded tile. After you have taken 3 actions, your turn is over and you will begin drawing treasure cards. To determine how many treasure cards you must draw, simply look at the water level and draw the amount of cards equal to that. For in this case, the water level is 2, so you will draw 2 cards from this deck. If you were to draw a treasure card or a special action card, you put that in your hand and you are temporarily safe. But draw a Water's Rise card and now we've got some problems. When you draw a Water's Rise card, there are 3 things you must do. First, move the water level on this tracker to the next level. Next, shuffle the discard pile of the flood deck and put it back on top. And lastly, discard the Water's Rise card. If while drawing in treasure cards, you draw a second Water's Rise card, repeat the cycle. Important thing to note, if you were to draw 2 Water's Rise cards in a row, you will only shuffle the flood discard pile once, but you will still move it up an extra mark. And if you draw a Water's Rise card and there are no cards in the flood pile, then you just simply move the marker up 1 tick. Also, while during the drawing treasure cards, if you draw a Water's Rise card, you do not get a replacement for drawing it. Once you have fulfilled the drawing of treasure cards phase, it is now the island's turn. Simply draw a number of flood cards from the top of the deck equal to whatever the flood level is currently stated. With 2, you then draw 2 cards. 1 at a time, and when you draw a card, you take the matching tile and either flip it over to the flood side, or in the case of Whispering Gardens, which is already flooded, remove it from the game entirely. If a tile does get removed from the game, remove the matching card that sunk it as well. If a pawn was on a tile that becomes flooded, just temporarily remove it, flip it over, and put the pawn back on. If a pawn was on a tile that was flooded and is removed from the game, the pawn must then swim to an adjacent tile. Basically, that means it just moves to another tile that it can reach, even if it is flooded. If when a tile sinks with a pawn on it and the pawn has nowhere to swim to, the pawn has been sunk into the abyss, and the players lose the game. Once you have drawn the flood cards equal to the water level, it is now the next player's turn. He will take his 3 actions, draw his treasure cards, and flood the island. The game will end in one of 5 ways. It will end as a win for the players if they capture all 4 treasures, everyone gets to a Fool's Landing, and plays a helicopter lift to lift them off the island. And yes, you can still win if Fool's Landing is flooded. If, however, Fool's Landing sinks into the abyss, you lose. If both sources for treasure sink before you can collect it, you lose. If, as already stated, a tile sinks with a player on it, and the player has nowhere to swim to, you lose. And you will lose if you allow the water level to get all the way up to the skull and crossbones. And that is all you need to know how to play Forbidden Island. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Thank you all so much as always for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want more videos and you like video games, you can click the link in the description and head on over to my other channel, youtube.com/LeunameGames. Thanks again so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Later!